There's a bit of a solar revolution going on at the moment. Balcony solar, DIY solar, or plug-in solar, whatever you call it, it's making it easy for far more people to generate solar power, save money, and even earn money themselves without a massive installation bill. I thought I'd try it for myself. This is the EcoFlow STREAM Ultra X, and I'm going to use it to go off-grid. Well, a bit off-grid anyway. So I'm very excited about getting stuck in and getting this set up. My friend Richard, he's got a channel, Upside Down Fork. He's done videos about this. He's had it for months. He absolutely loves it. So I know it's going to be good. My plan is actually going to be to go off-grid with one room in the house, and that room is going to be the office. If you end up liking this video, I'd really appreciate it if you press the subscribe button and the bell icon, and let me get this in at the beginning. If you did want to get any of this EcoFlow kit, please use the link in the description and on screen, and there is a code there to get some money off. Anyway, let's get this set up and see how it works. So in the box here, we've got EcoFlow STREAM Ultra X, and then in this box here we have 2 solar panels, and it's the heaviest box I've ever experienced. And then here we've got a couple of brackets for flat roofs. Quite how we're going to get the solar panels on the roof, I don't know. We're going to give it a good try. We had solar panels and batteries fitted to the house over a year ago thanks to Heatable, and they have saved and earned us so much money. It's been ridiculous. They've been amazing. But the solar panels are on the roof, which is east-west facing, which means that the front of the house is south facing. The garage roof would be a perfect place for some panels, but adding some onto the existing array would be a complex job that I'd have to get a proper installer to do, and obviously that would cost a lot of money. So I'd heard about balcony or plug-in solar, and I thought that that would be perfect here. There's also the benefit that it's portable for when we move. Did I say when? I mean if we move. God, I hope that's no time soon. With amazing timing, EcoFlow contacted me to ask whether I'd like to try out the STREAM Ultra X, so obviously I jumped at it. Now I'm familiar with EcoFlow as I use the Delta 2 and extra battery, which I bought many years ago, and that's been really good. It saves us really every time we have a power cut. And I also tried the Delta Max years ago as well with a flexible solar panel. But this is a big step up. While I've got the box here, let's look at the specs. Firstly, you'll see it's got a 10-year warranty, which is pretty impressive really. 6,000 cycles for this LFP battery is what it'll do. A cycle is when you discharge it and then you charge it back up. You can do that 6,000 times, and the battery will still be completely usable after those 6,000 times, but the health of the battery will have depleted to 70%. It's got a capacity of 3.84 kilowatt hours. It's IP65, which means that you can put it outside and it can be in the rain, so that's good. If you do decide to put this outside, it does also have a little bit of battery heating as well, so it should still work in cold temperatures, unlike the Alpha battery I've got on the side of my house, which sadly doesn't. It stops working under about -2. You don't have that issue with this. The maximum AC power is 2,300 watts. So that's the amount that you can power using this device, which is quite a lot. The grid power is 800 watts. That's the amount that it will export back to the grid. 800 watts is a limit in the UK, but this will be different depending on where you get this. So if you're in another country, you might find it's either lower or higher. But that's our restriction. That's what the UK government have said. And you'll see that you've got 2,000 watts of solar power you can put in here, and that's with 4 MPPTs. So let's see how I get on without using the instructions. So this is the garage. We're going to put them up there. My office is just in there, so as you can see, it doesn't have very far to travel. So the biggest issue is really going to be putting the panels onto the roof. Well, hopefully that's the biggest issue. I'm assuming the rest is going to be relatively simple. So we need to get a couple of ladders, and I'm going to have to get my wife to help me, because as you can see, I'm not a weightlifter. Easy. There we go. So, next step is going to get the flat roof brackets set up and they're mounted on there.
As long as you don't ruin the top of this, otherwise we get leaks in the garage.
Yes. Right, with the panels on the roof, next up we have to put them on brackets. So there's the installation guide, and there's a tutorial video. So if we look in the box then, so there's 2 rails there, and then we've got a couple of these boxes. In here we've got these protective pads. These are little sticky back bits that we take off, and then we can attach that to the rails. And then under here we have the bits that attach the panels. And in the other box we've got these metal pieces here. These go on top of the rails and they allow us to put some bricks or whatever just to give it some extra stability. So take it up onto the roof and I'll start assembling. What a beautiful day for it. Right, so we've got all the fixings ready and now we just got to assemble it. God, look at the state of those panels, they really need a wash. Obviously I'm hoping that this flat roof can take the weight. Wouldn't be ideal if it can't. These are the pieces that hold the panel in place. You've got these that go at the front, these are smaller, and then you've got these larger ones that go at the back, of course, so the panels are tilted towards the sun. Okay, so that bit there has to go inside this little bit in the rail. So with those on the rails, we can then put the panel on there. And I think I'm going to need my wife's help for that. So we're going to lift this panel onto there. Just remember that this really needs to rest on the frame and not the back of the panel. So if it's on the edge like that, that should be fine. And then we'll clip this in place once we're happy with the positioning. I am wondering whether I should have undone the cables a little bit to make it a bit easy to connect. Hey ho, it's a learning experience. So once you've got the brackets in place on the rails, these are the next things you have to put on. So as you can see, the panel is just resting on this like that. And that's because you've got to put this bit on there. You can see there's this lip here, so I just have to move that in a little bit more. Oops, like that. There we go. That's all good, then I can tighten this. Obviously positioning is really important with solar panels because you don't want the one at the front shading the one at the back. So I'm just going to move this forward a little bit, not too much because my wife doesn't want people to see it from the road. Don't know why. I quite like the look of solar panels, really.
Why does it need to be so close to the entrance so everyone sees the ugly thing?
So the last thing we've got to do, well, the last thing in terms of these roof rails is putting on some things that then allow us to put on bricks just to support it even more, to weight it down. Because although these panels are quite heavy, you can imagine that the wind is obviously very strong sometimes and it can move them. These fit on the roof rails like that, and you can see that you can position them however you want depending on what you've got to weight it down. Okay, I think I'm done for today, so tomorrow we'll do all the setup. Okay, so I think it's time to look in the box for the EcoFlow STREAM Ultra X, and we'll start getting these panels connected up. And just to say that this, like the solar panels, is extremely heavy, so you really need 2 people lifting this box, or 1 fit person, and I'm not, so 2 people. Don't you hate it when people open boxes with scissors? So in here we should have the MPPT extension cables. And the installation guide, which I should probably read. They're the things we have to connect to the solar panels. And it's all pretty simple, really. Obviously you've got the male and you've got the female, so it just goes where it can go. So just for testing purposes, I'm going to just put that there and then plug the panels into it. It lacks a screen, so really everything you have to do is through the app, which you can do once you get it connected. Thank you. Oh, it's tempting to remove that, but I'm not going to do that until I'm happy with it. This is where the solar panels go into. So you've got PV 1, 2, 3 and 4. So you can obviously plug in 4 panels. You've got to put the positive in there and the negative. it should be relatively simple. So we've got a positive and a negative, and it says on here which one's which. So you can see this one is negative and the other one is positive. So as long as you get these round the right way when you plug it into the EcoFlow, it'll be fine. So just so I remember what I'm doing, I'm going to do the negative first. So as you can see, this one's female, this one's male, and that snaps in place. And if it doesn't reach down there, then at least there are 8 of these, because I can just extend it with another one, of course. That's the negative, and that's the positive, so you really can't get them the wrong way round. And there, click. Now we do the same with the positives. This roof is very creaky. When I walk on it, it's not a good sign, is it? And I'm going to stick another one of those on there to extend it. So that's 3 altogether. So obviously if we had more than 2 panels up here, we would need a few more extension cables. I need to really hurry up and do this before we lose the sun, so I can at least test it today. PV2 positive. Oh, got the camera. 2 seconds to turn it on. Get yourself the EcoFlow app if you don't already have it, and then you want to log in. Already it's popped up, let Discover Devices, add. And then select Wi-Fi. Okay, so there we go, that's setting up. Just to say, I haven't actually looked at the instructions for this, so far it seems quite easy and plug and play, doesn't it? Device connected to the network successfully. Okay, done. So, home, next. Right. Well, there should be like an ugly flat roof really, but anyway, let's go style 4. So there we go, that's working. So at the moment, what time is it? 20 to 6 in the evening. We're getting 138 watts of solar, so not much, of course. Tomorrow is going to be a sunny day, I think. So we'll see how it is tomorrow. And at the moment, it says that it's charging, so it's charging up the battery. The app says 600 watts from grid, but that's incorrect because it's not plugged into the grid. I'll leave this outside tonight because it's not going to rain, even though apparently it is okay in the rain, although we're supposed to put that on the back. And I'll plug the office into it tomorrow and we'll go off grid. It's crazy just how dirty these panels get. I didn't do anything with it. We're about, what time is it? 1 p.m? So the sun is pretty high in the sky and there's no shading on the panels. So I imagine this is pretty much maximum that we're going to get from them. About 360 watts per panel at the moment. They're actually 450 watt panels, but that's probably not going to happen. It's the same with all these panels up here. I think all these are 450 watt as well, but you don't get that. So I've been crawling around under the office desk and I've got everything plugged into the extension board. So now, for the moment anyway, I'm just going to dangle this outside the window and plug it into the EcoFlow. The sun has been out all day, so we're probably almost at 100% now. Clearly this is all looking very tatty at the moment, but you know, this could be tidied up easily. Could stick a little bit of conduit, or quite a big chunky bit of conduit, maybe going down. So we're at 100%. Let's turn on AC. Okay, so the office is now powered by the battery and the solar panels. So we've got 2 displays, the laptop, what else? The printer and the NAS. It's network area storage. It's the hard drives that all my content is loaded on. Just to say, it's completely silent, by the way. Let me give you a little tour of the app. At the top, you can see obviously what the weather is. You can see the consumption rate. This is how much my peak rate electricity costs. So you can set this up. And it just means that when it works out your savings, obviously it uses that figure. You can also select a feed-in rate. For me, that's 12 pence per kilowatt hour. I'm not going to do that because I'm not actually feeding anything back into the grid anyway, which is what it tells me here. In fact, it says the system isn't connected to the grid. Now, you'll see this bit here that says 0 watts from grid, which is correct because I'm running this off grid. this was showing 800 watts for a while, and I had to go in and change a setting, so that's something that's worth bearing in mind. But what you can see here is quite clearly it says 192 watts at the moment being generated by solar, 68 watts going into the home, and you can see that we're also charging the battery here, 125 watts. And you can see it says self-powered mode in use. So if I click that, you can see that the battery's at 92%. It tells me how much I'm generating with solar, split between PV1 and PV2. So they're the two panels. And you can also see that we've got AC1 and AC2, and I've just plugged everything into AC1 at the moment. And I could use that little button there to switch that off if I wanted to, but currently my office is drawing about 70 watts. Now you've also got settings. If I click up here, you've got some settings there. You can change the device name if you want to and do a firmware update, things like that. And you've also got more settings on here. And here you can change different limits like power settings, grid tied power settings. So if you do plug your house into this, then you need to select it there. So you see we've got all these different power limits. The UK power limit is 800. If you're in Slovenia, you're only at 600 watts. Let me show you my favourite page of this app. So if you click on the page here, you get all the analytics stuff. Solar generation up here, you can see how that's done. So you can see we've got the PV1 and PV2, so you can tick those. You can see that actually pretty consistent really. I mean, the two panels are next to each other, so I suppose that's no big surprise. Now my favourite screen on here is probably the generation efficiency. I love this one because it tells you how well you're doing compared to other people in your area. So today my efficiency is 88.7% compared to 72.1 being the average in the region. So I outperformed 82.3% of users in my region, so I'm very happy about that. That's the benefit, I suppose, of having a south-facing roof. Energy independence, you can see that I've got 7.6% energy independence, but there's actually an issue with this. So that's not true, because you'll see there it says energy from grid, 117 kilowatt hours, and that's not right, because I haven't actually taken anything from the grid the whole time we've had this. And it's because I had the wrong setting. And if you go to energy delivery strategy, at the moment it's set to semi-automated monitoring. Oh, you can see you can link a smart plug, by the way, which is great if you've got a Shelly or something like that. But if you go down to the bottom where it says base load power, you've got to go to edit and you've got to change that. If you're going off grid, like me, you've got to change that to 0 watts. Now that previously was set to, I think it was 800 watts. And for some reason, don't really understand the technicalities of it, but for some reason it seemed to think that we were taking 800 watts from the grid, even though we weren't, because it's not plugged into the grid. I don't really understand why that happened. It does mean that it skewed all my stats a little bit, which is a bit annoying. But anyway, now it is working fine. And EcoFlow did tell me the technical reason, but I didn't really understand that. Sometimes I feel like a complete lemon. And you've got lots of other things on here, like total earnings. If I click that, that's telling me that I've earned £8.34. I haven't really earned that though, have I? I've probably saved it, but I wouldn't have earned that because we're not feeding anything into the grid. So I'm loving all of that. You can also see we've got predicted generation today, and that's quite neat really, that it tells you all that kind of stuff, but that's something you've got to subscribe for, £2.90 a month. But it seems pretty good. It's something I might look at in the future, but not yet. One of the things that looks really fun about this is automations, and I haven't done any automations yet on here, although actually I do on the Delta 2, which I've got inside. Now on that, I've got an automation that means that it will start recharging it when it gets to cheap rate electricity, so 11:30 at night. But with this, I've not set anything up. But what could you do? Well, let's say the temperature drops below, I don't know, let's say it drops to -1 or something like that. Then you could set it to turn on a heater in a certain room if you wanted. If you wanted to turn on a heater in a bedroom or whatever, then you could do that using this, or a combination of this with smart plugs around the house perhaps. So there's lots of scope there to do some interesting things. Tell me in the comments if you've used that. Now, I said in my intro that this is called plug-in solar, and I also said that this is creating a bit of a solar revolution. And why is that? It's because you can actually plug this unit directly into a socket in your house, and you can power the house, partly anyway, using this, and of course the solar panels if they're connected as well. Isn't that amazing? Because I've always thought of power just going one way, not two ways. I've always thought of drawing power from a socket, but not actually putting power back into it. Now, although I said this system is DIY, if you want to power your house, there's something you really shouldn't do yourself, and that is put in a bidirectional Type A RCBO. The circuit breakers in my consumer unit are designed to detect faults in one direction from the grid going into appliances, but if you start putting power back into the circuit, that's not protected unless you have a 16 amp bidirectional RCBO on that circuit. It's not a big job, but it's certainly something you should get an electrician to do. Ideally, you'd be using plug-in solar on a dedicated circuit as well. Now, obviously, I'd be willing to bet the vast majority of people getting these systems around the world don't do any of that, and things should still work fine. But personally, I'd feel it's probably better to be safe than sorry. And I'm sure there'll be loads of people arguing one way or the other in the comments right now. Although I could potentially plug this into the house and power the house load from this, as well as the Alpha ESS system that we've got, I'm not going to. I'm going to keep them separate, just because I don't know what would happen. It might work, it might not, but I'm not going to risk it. I mean, nothing bad will happen. It will probably just mess up the reporting, perhaps in the Alpha app, and this one, I don't know, maybe the inverters will fight a little bit. So I'm not going to risk doing that. That's why I'm quite happy just using this to take my office off-grid. So what do I think of the EcoFlow STREAM Ultra X? Bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Well, I think it's fantastic. I'm amazed how easy it was to set up, because I really don't like looking at instructions at the best of times. Incredibly easy to set up. I think the app is fantastic. I love the fact that I've got analytics on that. The only thing is, it's sometimes a bit glitchy. I do find that I lose the Wi-Fi connection for some reason. I don't know why. Perhaps that's because I haven't got it plugged into AC. Maybe that would help. But EcoFlow always seem to be updating the app, so I imagine that's something they'll sort out. So yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. And I like it so much, I'm going to remove the film, finally, which is my seal of approval. If you want to get yourself the EcoFlow STREAM Ultra X or any other EcoFlow kit, then follow the link on screen and in the video description. Also use my coupon code. If you put that code in, then you get some money off as well. And let me know if you do get it, let me know in the comments, because I would love to know what you're doing with your system. I love the fact that it enables more people to generate their own electricity from solar power, even if you're in an apartment or even if you're renting somewhere, then it's such a good solution because you can just take it with you wherever you go. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please press the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified of other videos, and I'll be back very soon. Bye for now.